Kings and Queens. By now you've seen the multitude of Spider-Men flooding into Magic the Gathering and thought, none of them are really calling out to me. That's where I come in to help. Filled with caffeine like J. Jonah Jameson on a Monday, I've dissected all the Spider-Man cards that have been revealed up until today's date, and at the release of this video. Only to realize that the first Spider-Man card was the way to go the whole time. But you know how we do things on this channel. We need a more fitting alternate art. That's right. Now we're cooking with gas. Sensational Spider-Man is the hero we truly need, and the one we'll take to our next Commander Nights. For one generic, a white and a blue, Sensational Spider-Man is a 3/3 spider-human hero. Whenever he attacks, we get to tap a target creature the defending player controls, put a stun counter on it, then we can remove up to 3 stun counters from among all permanents on the battlefield, and we get to draw cards equal to the number of stun counters removed this way. By stunning all of our opposing creatures and drawing cards off them, it'll be like a no limit all you can eat buffet out there. This creature is going to make your opponents more upset than how you felt watching what they did to our Uncle Ben. How could they do that? Now, for just under $50, I know, it's gonna cost $48.25 to build out that 99, and I'm gonna show you just how you can crush your next bracket 2 level game on a budget. I can hear you say, how is that possible, just $50 in this economy? Well, let's go ahead and look at the breakdown of this deck, okay? Here we go, this is what we have. When building this deck, I've looked at responsibility and responsibility looked back at me. We both left the room, but we managed to build a spicy pile of cards that'll win surprisingly more games than you think it will. If you're new here, my name's Barris the Baristocrat. I cover every single card in the 99 of a deck, and I slap a bunch of memes into the mix. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos and more memes. Our first category, equipment. Who would have thought a world where Spider-Man running around with Thor's hammer within Magic the Gathering would be possible? Well, look no further, because we have Mjolnir Storm Hammer. Why do I sound like I'm selling you a product at 3 AM in the morning? Flavor aside, this is the perfect piece to equip to our little Spoderman over here. For 4 mana, the hammer equips for free. Then, when we attack, we essentially get to tap and stun a second creature. But that's not all. The hammer also deals damage, not to one, but to each. Each opponent equal to the number of tapped creatures that opponent controls. You now get to play whichever version of Whack-A-Mole you grew up with thanks to this card. Our last equipment, the Key to the Vault, for 1 and a blue. It is a legendary artifact. Whenever the equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, look at that many cards from the top of our library. We may exile a non-land card from among them, put the rest on the bottom of your library randomly. We can cast that exiled card without paying its mana cost. This allows us to cast some free spells as their defenses would have already been webbed up by our Spoderman. We also have Stonewall Giant for 5 mana, which might seem large, but once placed down, he can bring out any of these equipment, alright? These are the 2 equipment that we will focus on. Grab them out of our library and equipped onto our hero. This giant here is some redundancy for the deck to help draw out Mjolnir and the Key to the Vault, as these cards work harder than the Green Goblin's monologues in the first Spider-Man film. Yes, stun counter cards. The cards that you might think look so bad, they're actually good in this deck, thanks to our friendly neighborhood Spoderman. We have first up, Sleep Cursed Fairy. This card's downside is basically a draw 3 upside for us, and with flying attached. It gives us another creature we can later put the key to our vault on if we need to. Also have Sanctuary Wall for 2 mana. It is an artifact creature with Defender, but for 3 mana we can tap a target creature, put a stun counter on it, and also put a stun counter on the Sanctuary Wall. Again, another great value engine for us, and another way to spend some unspent mana between turn cycles. Also got Zygon Infiltrator for 3 mana. It is a creature, alien, shapeshifter, soldier. Regardless of all that jazz, we have the Body Print ability for 3 mana. Tap another target creature, put a stun counter on it. Zygon Infiltrator becomes a copy of that creature for as long as that creature remains tapped. Awesome. Activate only as a sorcery. Ambling Stormshell is a cracked card for the deck. It should honestly be in the card draw section. For 5 mana, you get a 5/9 turtle that draws 3 cards when it attacks, and then another 3 if Spoderman attacks alongside it, taking off those stun counters. I actually don't know how you're going to hold on to them all. It will be crazy. We also have Fear of Sleep Paralysis for 6 mana. It's a 6/6 flyer, and it may be the most up for debate card in this deck. Okay, not for everybody, but hear me out here. Many players probably won't include it as it stops your ability to remove stun counters from your opponent's permanents. However, the perks on this aren't as visible to all. Firstly, your opponents will be spending removal on this instead of your other creatures, right? Taking the heat away from your commander and the other cards that we want to keep around. Secondly, it buys us some time to set up our proliferate engines and have enough mana to fund essentially those proliferate engines. And lastly, we can still remove stun counters from our creatures to still generate card draw. So we really do have options for card draw, and you'll have so many cards in hand with that alone that you'll be reading more than a conspiracy theorist with unlimited internet access. So don't fret. We will be sailing the high seas with these 3 cards, and oh boy, your opponents will panic just hearing you read out the names of these cards out aloud. You won't be just casting these 3 Kraken creatures, you'll be grabbing some popcorn and watching the boss fights play out.
Let no joyful voice be heard! The Kraken!
Monstrosity of the Lake for 5 mana. When it enters the battlefield, you can pay an additional 5. Might seem large, but if you do, tap all creatures your opponents control, then put a stun counter on each of them. And if you seem to draw this card early, you can cycle it away for 2 and grab out a island instead. The Watcher in the Water, again 5 mana. When it enters the battlefield, it will come in with 9 stun counters. To me, I hear 9 cards waiting to be drawn. Whenever you draw a card during an opponent's turn, you get to create a 1/1 blue tentacle creature token, so we get some blockers out of that. Whenever a tentacle you control dies, untap up to 1 target Kraken and put a stun counter on up to 1 target non-land permanent. So it's a way we can kind of shift those stun counters off it as well, and then once done so, we will have a 9/9 beater on the battlefield. Lastly, Grappling Kraken for 6 mana. It has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, tap a target creature and stun it. For a 5/6 body, that is an amazing one to have around. Watching these creatures do work for you, you will feel the way you did at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, desperately trying to hold back those tears of happiness. If that wasn't enough, that's right, here are some stun spells that you can sling your opponent's way to further stun up your opponent's creatures. Playing these cards will make you really feel like you're webbing up your opponent's creatures. Some of these are also instant speed spells, so that little Timmy cannot sneak that giant dinosaur with haste at you. Let's blitz through these 9 spells just quickly. We have Freeze in Place, 2 mana. Tap a creature, put 3 stun counters on it, scry 2, webbed up. Impede Momentum, 2 mana. Tap a creature, same thing, put 3 stun counters on it, scry 1, webbed up. Stall Out for 2 mana, you see the theme here. Tap a target creature or vehicle, then 3 stun counters. You can also cycle this one away, a webbed up. Tranquilize, 2 mana. Tap a creature, put 3 stun counters on it. You know the line. Succumb to the Cold, 3 mana. You can tap 1 or 2, you're always going to pick 2. Target creatures and opponent controls, put a stun counter on each. Ooh, webbed up twice. We also have Trap the Trespassers, 3 mana instant. Secret Council, each player secretly votes on a creature you don't control, then the votes are revealed. For each creature with 1 or more votes, put that many stun counters on it, then tap it, potentially getting 3 creatures with a stun counter on each. Webbed up across the board. Out Cold for 4 mana, it's an instant that can't be countered. Tap up to 2 target creatures, put a stun counter on each, then investigate. Webbed up, question them. Wicked Slumber for 4 mana instant, you can convoke it so you can make the casting cost cheaper. Tap up to 2 target creatures, put a stun counter on either of them, then put a stun counter on either of them again. A webbed up. Lodestone Needle, 2 mana artifact with flash. When this artifact enters the battlefield, Tap up to 1 target artifact or creature and put 2 stun counters on it. So not just creatures, you can stun up an artifact. And you can craft it to its other side. Not super useful for us, but it's a way to sink some extra mana if need be. Webbed up. Whew. I'm gonna need a drink. Alright, let's go. Ah yes, the proliferate section of the deck. We've got 14 of these, because why would we leave a creature with 1 stun counter on it when we can leave it in a perpetual loop, Truman style? We have Khan's Bastion as a land, taps for colorless, but we can sink 4 mana each turn to continue the proliferate chain. Contentious Plan for 2 mana, sorcery, straight up just proliferate once, but we draw a card from that. Experimental Augury for 2 mana, look at the top 3 cards of our library, put one of them in our hand, the rest on the bottom, hit the board with another proliferate. Grateful Apparition, 2 mana, creature. It does have flying, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, proliferate, we're going to be proccing that with our 3 opponents on the board. Metastatic Evangel for 2 mana creature. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under our control, proliferate. That is going to kick off more than you think it will. Throbbing Bird for 2 mana, similar to Grateful Apparition, it's flying. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, proliferate. Dreamtide Whale is an awesome card for this deck. It has Vanishing 2, which, for those that haven't seen this, it means that it comes in with 2 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove 1. If it doesn't have any on it, by the end of your upkeep, sacrifice the creature. But whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, proliferate. So you can essentially keep proliferating those time counters, keeping Dreamtide Whale around. For 3 mana, a 7/5 body, what's not to love there? Flux Channeler for 3 mana. It is a creature human wizard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, proliferate. You're sensing the theme here. Lulu, Stern Guardian for 3 mana. Whenever an opponent attacks, choose a target creature attacking you, stun that creature. And again, if we don't have Khan's Bastion, we can sink 4 mana into Lulu to proliferate again. Reject Imperfection is a 3 mana instant to counter a target spell, and if that mana value on that spell was 3 or less, proliferate. That's a 2 for 1. We like synergy in our deck. Steady Progress, 3 mana, instant. Straight up proliferate, draw a card, similar to earlier. Tezzeret's Gambit, 4 mana, but you can spend just 3 generic and 2 life to do so. You could draw 2 cards and then proliferate off it. Deep Glow Skate for 5 mana. This creature is a 3/3 that when it comes into the battlefield, doubles the number of each kind of counter on any number of target permanents. So this can really send your game plan spiraling out of control in our favor, right? You don't have to sink as much mana into your 4 mana proliferate spells like Khan's Bastion or Lulu. This will give you some breathing room on that space and give you plenty of ways to draw cards. Inexorable Tide, 5 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast a spell, any spell, proliferate. We have 7 direct card draw spells, and if there is an upgrade to be had in this deck, it definitely would be to whack in a no maximum hand size card in here. We do have a Thought Vessel, but having a second card or a third with this ability would be a solid to have with this amount of cards that we'll be drawing throughout. First up is Borrowing 100,000 Arrows. It is a 3 mana sorcery. Draw a card for each tapped creature target opponent controls. You can already see why I'm suggesting a second or third no maximum hand size card, huh? We also have Hilda's Crown of Winter for 3 mana. It's a legendary artifact that allows us to tap an opponent creature for free on our turn, or we can pay 1 on an opponent's turn and to tap a creature that way. You can also sacrifice it in a pinch to draw an insane amount of cards. Just hope your landlord isn't nearby to notice the newly found profits sitting in your pockets. Hilda of the Icy Crown for 4 mana. A legendary creature that says whenever you tap an untapped creature an opponent controls, you may pay 1. When you do, choose one of the following. The option you'll probably choose most is scrying 2 then drawing a card. Next up probably being creating a 4/4 white and blue elemental creature token, and lastly putting a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Charade of the Numbing Depths, another legendary creature for 4 mana. When Charade of the Numbing Depths enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls, put a stun counter on it. The second ability is why we're playing her. Whenever you tap one or more untapped creatures an opponent controls, draw a card. This triggers once a turn. Mind Spiral, it's a 5-mana sorcery. You can gift a tapped fish, essentially giving an opponent a card. Target player draws 3 cards. If the gift was promised, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. So we get to draw 3 cards. We get to give a card to an opponent. But remember, you can stun a creature but gift the card to another opponent. So you can build some political favor that way. Modify Memory for 5 mana, it's a sorcery. You get to exchange control of 2 target creatures controlled by different players. If you control neither creature, draw 3 cards. So the way you're going to play this out, you're going to play this for 5 mana, you're going to draw 3 cards because you're going to select 2 commanders, not including your own, 2 opposing commanders, and it's really going to gum up their game plan having it switched because they're going to have to try and figure out ways to have their commander destroyed. So they're going to waste for removal on their own commander to get it back in their command zone, to get it back on their board. It is a slept on card. Again, 5 mana, we have Summon Shiva. It is an enchantment creature, Saga Elemental. At the first and second chapter, we get to tap a target creature an opponent controls, putting a stun counter on it. The third step allows us to draw a card for each tapped creature your opponents control. That includes every opponent. And while it's around, it is a 4/5 body. You will have so many cards in hand, you won't know how to spend it all. We've got 3 protection cards in the deck, which may seem low, but with the ability to stun everything, these 3 pieces will stick around, and these just shore up some parts of the deck that just need a little bit of an uplift. We have Swiftfoot Boots, as you know, gives a creature hexproof and haste, generally going to be placed on your commander. The Wanderer, it's a 4-mana planeswalker. It doubles up as some creature removal, so it essentially says prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to you and other permanents you control. This doesn't stop direct life removal, so if you have some aristocrat player removing player life or tinkering with your life that way, you can't avoid that, but all other forms of direct spells slinging damage at you will be blocked with this. You also have the ability to exile a target creature with power 4 or greater, so the Wanderer doubles up for us there. Archetype of Imagination for 6 mana is an enchantment creature human wizard. Our creatures have flying, our opponent's creatures lose flying and can't gain flying. This gives us just a few more ways to hit opponents, trigger those combat damage triggers, but also it acts defensively to make sure flyers can't get above us. Our enchantment cards, because sometimes winning slowly and smugly is the real win con. We have Lost in the Maze for X and 2 blue. It's an enchantment with flash. When Lost in the Maze enters the battlefield, tap X target creatures, put a stun counter on each of those that we don't control. Tapped creatures you control have hexproof. Propaganda, 3 mana. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. Gives us some breathing room. Scroll of Isildur for 3 mana. The first chapter says gain control of 1 target artifact for as long as you control the Scroll of Isildur. You have the ring tempting you. Second, tap up to 2 target creatures, put a stun on each of them. Second, tap up to 2 target creatures, put a stun counter on each of them. And third, draw a card for each tapped creature a target opponent controls. So this just focuses on 1 opponent, but you will draw a bunch of cards by doing so. Solitary Sanctuary. Essentially, it is just a slow burning threat wrapped in pretty rules text. When it ETBs, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. Whenever you tap an untapped creature an opponent controls, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature of yours. Verity Circle for 3 mana. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, you may draw a card. If we really don't have any other ways to sync our mana, we can tap a target creature without flying, but as you've seen, there's plenty of other mana syncs in our deck. These enchantments are like glitter. pretty permanent and impossible to get rid of. Kidnap, it's a 4 mana enchantment aura, the synergy star of this deck. You can gift a card, enchanted creature, you control the enchanted creature. When Kidnap enters, you tap the enchanted creature. However, if it wasn't promised, if that gift wasn't promised, you can put 3 stun counters on it. So you do have a choice there. Remember, if you gift that card, you can gift it to a different opponent that you took the creature from. So you have maximum bargaining power in that scenario. The Caves of Androzani is our next card. For the first chapter, put 2 stun counters on up to 2 target tapped creatures. For each non-saga permanent, choose a counter. You may put an additional counter of that kind on that permanent. That's for chapters 2 and 3, and for the 4th one isn't really relevant because we don't have Doctor cards in the deck. Removal. Like hitting Control Z on your opponent's last actions, these will help us in a pinch deal with cards that we cannot generally do so otherwise. Kabira Takedown, for 2 mana, it's an instant, allows you to deal damage equal to the number of creatures you control or to a target creature or planeswalker. Being that it has a land on the other side, it is a free include and it's a pretty cheap pickup. Generous Gift, for 3 mana, it's an instant to destroy a target permanent. Its controller create a 3/3 green elephant creature token instead. Split Up, for 3 mana, choose one of the following. Get to destroy all tapped creatures or all untapped creatures. Gives you a bit of flexibility there. Swords to Plowshares, it's our final direct removal card, but it actually has another role in the deck. You can use it to get rid of the fear of sleep paralysis, and you can heal 6 off it in the process, being a 6/6 body. If your opponents have not yet removed it, you can cast Swords on this card once your board is set up to really start drawing cards and remove those stun counters from your opponent's creatures. We only have 4 ramp spells in the deck, as our commander and the bulk of our spells mostly cost 5 mana or below. We've got the classics, we've got the Soul Ring, the Arcane Signet, the Azoria Signet for some color fixing, and the Thought Vessel mentioned earlier for whenever we eventually draw too many cards. For our lands, we have a total of 42 lands. 40 of them are basic lands. You're either thinking, I'm a genius, or you're thinking, I'm deeply afraid of being mana screwed. Either way, I think you might be right. The other 2 lands are the reverse side of Kabira Takedown and Khan's Bastion. 42 may seem high, but in playtesting, it gives a much smoother experience by providing more consistency. That's it for today's video. At the end of the day, go out there and play what you want. Win some games, lose some friends, the choice is yours. Links to my Moxfield, Patreon and Discord are in the description. If you would like a copy of this alternate art Spoderman, drop into the Discord, grab it for free. Just click the link in there, you'll find it in the channels there. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm about to finish turn 71 with about 100 stun counters on the board.